the English and Japanese versions of the Game Boy Advance Puyo Pop. Something interesting about this game is that in the Japanese version, there's an option, toggle, to change the language to English, which is something you don't normally see in Japanese games. Which means that the Japanese cartridge contains a version of the game in English, which is actually a different version of the game in English than the version that would eventually release outside of Japan. Let's have a quick comparison between the different versions of the English translation by watching this cutscene. One fine day, Arl was playing with Kakun, whereas in the international version it's Carbuncle, which is an interesting change. So Arl does call Carbuncle Kakun in Japanese. I think starting in Puyo Puyo Tetris, she calls him Carby in English. I don't think we're in Kansai anymore. That's a Wizard of Oz reference that they removed from the English localization version, which I think is a good thing. I don't think that reference really fits. Here we've got Skeleton T. Just left over from last month, or used tea bags? Which plot point is better? Decide for yourself. One thing I find cute is how when you pause the game, normally it says pause, but in the Japanese English version it says break time, which is pretty funny. And let's lose on purpose. Hang on a sec. Let's do this with one hand. Let's lose on purpose because the other thing I want to show. Normally when you lose it says oh no, but in this version it says baba bing, which is, I guess, their attempt of translating the Japanese word batankyu, which is what normally is shown in Japanese when you lose. I don't think baba bing is the correct translation. So yeah, this version's really funny. Anyway, that's that.